In the wake of the COVID pandemic, across the food industry, producers and consumers are still adjusting to pressures that spiked prices and knocked traditional spending patterns out of whack.
We've had a period where we've gone through once in 50-year inflation, right? It's impacted our cost structure. We're up almost 30% in our cost of goods sold just over the past 2 years. If I dial back to the beginning of the pandemic, almost a third increase in our cost base, almost $3.6 billion, give or take.
Even though high inflation, those historic highs we saw in the summer of 2022, have passed, they're still behaving and really weighing on consumers. When they're shopping, they're comparing prices more frequently. They're buying generic instead of name brand. They're even buying fewer items overall.
There are some consumers that are trading down, so we're seeing that. We didn't see it early in the inflationary period, but we're seeing it more now than ever.
And consumers are feeling the pinch of inflation. So even if inflation is coming down, that doesn't mean it's deflationary. We're in this dichotomy where in some ways we're settling into a new normal, in other ways it feels very abnormal and very stressful for consumers.
From 2020 through the early months of 2024, food prices soared 25% in the U.S., well above the 20% rise for consumer prices overall. Food inflation concerns dominated headlines.
Every time Ohioans go to the grocery store,
the Senate held hearings on shrinkflation, calling out industry players for reducing the size of their products without actually reducing the price. It's a challenge many companies have had to address.
I think consumers understand that inflation is very broad-reaching and certain costs have gone up. Consumers want transparency. Let me know what's in my food, how did it get here, how was it treated, and if you are going to shrink a pack size on me, it'd be nice to know that ahead of time, or at least some visibility to that.
There's been a lot of talk about shrinkflation among a lot of the packaged goods companies. How do you go about creating a more cost-effective, both for you and for the consumer, but doing it in a way that's a little more transparent?
We have to do the things first that dampen the impact, right? That don't impact the consumer. If we do our job right and we're driving productivity, that takes some of the sting out, because that's costs that we don't have passed back, certainly ultimately to the consumer. But the other job is to make sure that if we've got consumers that are looking for value, that we're hitting them with the right promotions and the right incentives, as well as we've got pack sizes to kind of meet their price point expectations. That's a big part of the job.